Mike here, Money, Marriage, and Media. Welcome back, guys. 600 subscribers. That's what we're going for this month. Let's go ahead, like and subscribe. Make sure your notifications are turned on. Today, we are looking at the Lapeef Experience. New title name, new channel name, I think. But the show is called Bridging the Gap with Kelly. And I'm assuming that Kelly is, the woman on the panel. Right? First time checking out this show, so this should be interesting. The topic is it's very hard to tear any man away from his ethnic female counterpart. I said this in a previous video that like race is a cheat code because for the most part we tend to stick with our own people. So let's hear what the panel has to say. Maybe I'm wrong.
Was picked out for me in Nigeria. All right, so I had to find. Let me tell you, finding a soft-spoken, feminine Black American woman, because they're so rare, it was like I got one. I was frantic. Okay, so
Like a Man is a great movie reference for that.
no, it is not. That is one of the
It
worst
is
movies of all
completely
time.
not.
I was
So-
just kidding. Jesus.
Do you think
No,
that,
you weren't. No, you
Heidi,
weren't,
you
Hadi.
weren't.
Oh, trust me, I was.
You were not.
If I
No,
could
you weren't.
reach
If
through
we would have
this-
agreed, you would have said, "Isn't it?" Yeah, you would have continued, Hadi. Don't
Oh,
lie.
hell no.
Let's
No,
go.
that movie is stupid.
People don't like to talk about it because of whatever reason, but you actually need to go. You need to drill down into it and get granular. It is because of the values, culture, and which transcends itself into behavior. Black men, and like I said, it is very hard to tear any man away from his ethnic counterpart, his ethnic female counterpart. We naturally want them. So you have to think, if men are actually going outside and seeing other women as suitable options, you got to look at those details. It's because in a different culture, women don't talk to me like I'm.
So this is interesting. Trigger Mike, I think that's his name. I'm pretty sure I've seen him on the panel before. Different show, maybe. I'm pretty sure he's married. And also, I think that Amira is also married. So we got two married people on the panel. I'm not sure about the other individuals. I've seen Simply Indy on a panel before. I don't think she's married. And yeah, I'm not sure about the rest. But this is an interesting topic because right now the passport thing is trending. So this should be, let's see if it gets to that. Because I do agree with Trigger Mike is that if you have, when the men are looking to date outside their race, marry outside their race, more importantly, if that's become a movement, you have to start looking at, okay, why is this the case? Because again, for the most part, people tend to stick with their own. So let's see what he's got.
Crazy. Women don't make me feel like I'm stupid. These are the things that men tell men. We're not going to sit here and cry about it on YouTube, but this is what they're actually saying. If a black man could find a woman, like, let me tell you something, especially a man like me, I married a Black American woman and I'm Nigerian. My wife was picked out for me in Nigeria. All right. So I had to find, let me tell you, finding a soft-spoken, feminine Black American woman, because they're so rare, it was like I got one. I was frantic. Okay. So that's how rare it is in our society. And that's why, unfortunately, black men are more so going to look outside of the race because,
Yeah. And entering into the gender war in 3, 2. What he's talking about, I've heard this when you talk to other men, we talk about these things and it's one side of the gender war. Because if you talk to the women about that, well, they'll say, well, we didn't want him anyway. Why, it's a chicken and egg thing. Because most of the guys who are talking about passports are guys that are being passed over anyway. But then you got to ask if that's the case, why are the women so much in an uproar about these guys who are leaving? Well, again, you watch enough of the gender war. One of the reasons is because these guys keep talking about it. On one hand, I kind of agree with that. If you're trying to go to another country, go. I'll say my thoughts. Let's keep going.
we don't talk about it. It's uncomfortable, but the women aren't casual about letting us know they don't give a shit about us. So we naturally don't give a shit about dating out.
I would say like you should ask men, black men, if compare, right? Since you're comparing to other races. I think that it doesn't matter if the woman has the features that he likes, whatever. If these women were behaving the way that men want them to behave, they will go and pick them first. Simple as that. Ask them that way. If black women were behaving in the way that you want, would you go with black women or any other race? Also, Indy, I would say you cannot compare these men passport bros that they're not getting married. That's why I don't agree with them. I have no problem with them traveling. I have no problem with them exploring the world. But my problem is they are saying that there is good women out there and they are still not getting married. That's
Yeah,
my problem.
Yeah, I agree. You want to go with Mary? Well, I just agree. I'm gonna save my thoughts for the end, but I definitely agree with her.
They're not marrying them. They are just spreading their toxicity. That's what they're doing. And
And
that's
I,
why other countries are closing their doors.
I would say that I was raised in a traditional home. My parents were married for 38 years before my father passed away, and we were we were taught to be traditional. That's what we saw growing up. My mother was a stay-at-home mom of 5. She stayed home. My dad brought in the bacon, right? So when I was raised to believe and see, that's what I act out naturally. And I don't have a problem with any race trying to date me. Black men, white men, Hispanic men, Asian men, they all try to date me. But I think it's the way I carry myself. It's my demeanor. It's how I talk to a man. Because I was taught by my father, this is how you, even if you have an issue, this is how you bring it to a man. It's not a yelling. It's not an argument. It's a conversation. And you can even have a controversial conversation, but you can do it in a way where you bring it to him peacefully. So I think if that is taught, if women are taught how to talk to a man or how to respect a man, that's what they need most from a woman. They need to be respected. They need to feel respected. My dad said that's number one for a man. Above love, they want respect. And I think they feel disrespected a lot of times by
Yeah,
their women, unfortunately. So I just think I think it needs to be class taught. This is how you talk to a man. It's
Do
a
you
lost
think?
art.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kel. Do you think it's?
No,
You said that you said
Think,
that you.
Think Like a Man is a great movie reference for that.
you said
You
what?
said
I
I
said
didn't-
Think Like a Man is a great movie reference for that.
No, it is not. That is one of the
It is
worst movies of all time.
completely not.
I was
so.
just kidding. Jesus.
Do you think
No,
that?
you weren't. No, you
Hadi,
weren't,
you weren't.
Hadi.
Oh, trust me, I was.
You were not.
That's like
No,
a
you weren't. If
roots
we would have
job.
agreed, you would have said, "Isn't it?" Yeah, you would have continued, Hadi. Don't
Oh,
lie.
hell no.
Let's
I
go.
thought that movie is stupid.
he say think like a man. Okay, dude, way to bring the high level conversation down into the toilet. That was
So Kelly, you said that you grew up with like your dad, and he was like like you grew up with both your parents and stuff
Mhm.
like that. A lot of the modern Black American women are not
I
growing
don't
up
have
in
that.
households. So a lot of the time we talk about this all the time on like the panels and stuff. Um, there is no like you said, like there is no temperament on how to deal with a man, and if you feel like he's getting a certain type of way towards you, they buck up. We've talked about how it plays out even in like legal scenes. Like
Mhm.
they're not listening to police officers or authority because they've never had a man, you know, tell them what to do. They don't want to listen.
Right.
So I think that, like you were like definitely blessed and stuff like that. But the reality for a lot of American Black households is that they don't
It's,
have.
they don't have that.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm writing.
it's interesting to hear. Most of the time, you don't get that level of accountability for women as a whole. Generally, the general opinion when we're talking about the gender war is generalizations are wrong. You shouldn't do that. You're on a show. You're talking to thousands of people. Even me, like thousands of people gonna watch this video, watching these videos, not this one, because let's face it, this channel ain't that big yet. But you have to use generalizations because you want it to apply to as many people as possible. So to hear her talk about women in that light, I'm impressed. Let's go.
writing a book, shameless plug. It's called A Father's Love, and I wanted to like kind of give the lessons that I was taught by my father, because a lot of women don't have fathers, and not only that, they don't have fathers that impart to them. So he gave us a lot of wisdom, and I want to be able to share that with people who don't have that in their lives. So
It's necessary. And Kevin Samuel said it. Dudes can come up here and talk all day long, but until a woman says it, women won't really listen, won't resonate.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's another reason for that, and I'll address it in the summary. I'm interested to see where they take this conversation next, though, because for the most part, this panel is in agreement. So, that's interesting.
So yeah, that book is 2 women. And I've had my boyfriend actually thank me. Like we'll have a conversation and I'm like, okay, well, thank you for letting me. I didn't know, I'll work on that. And then he was like, is that it? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, it's not gonna be a fight. And I was like, a fight about what? I value what you say. It made a lot of sense. It's not like you're like, you better do this. He was like, this is what I think, this is what I'm saying. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, okay, I'll work on that. Thank you for letting me know. And he was just like,
Do you know what my
never
it
experienced
like
this.
it, no cap, it really hurts my heart that what you're doing right now is gonna naturally happen to every woman. If we can't humble you, if the people, your friends, your family can't humble you, time will. And they're gonna learn it way too late. By the time they're ready to be like you and just stop putting up a fight and realize that all you had to do was be easygoing, and oh, maybe he isn't crazy. Maybe it's me who just needs to change my perspective. I don't know what too late means, but I feel like it's going to be too late.
But I also learned that from my father, because like when he came to me, he did give us criticism. He did reprimand us, but he also did it in love. So when he did it, I knew he was doing it from a place of care, and I received it. So I'm used to getting that from a man. So it was it's really easy to receive that in a relationship.
I was
when
gonna
it's
say
done the
that.
right way.
I was gonna say that, Kelly, because I think that matters. Probably the way that he said it was like, there's difference between coaching and just saying or giving an order. There's a big difference. And I was raised by my father, so I know the way that he talks to me is not the way that certain men that I hear in these panels talk to. Some men here scream and they get like so emotional, and like at some point I have to remove my headphones.
No.
I'm like, no, this is too much. I'm not used to this type of no. So I think what the words matter, and that's why sometimes women are like in this mode, like, hey, don't
Like on
attack me,
defense.
or they are like ready to.
Yeah. Okay. I might have to check out some more of Bridging the Gap. It's an interesting concept. The panel, for the most part, seems to be in agreement. And we kind of strayed away from the topic, so we're going to cut it here. But to summarize my opinion on this topic, race is a cheat code, and it should be a red flag when you have a significant amount of men who are looking to date, or women who are looking to date outside of their race, because for the most part, we usually stick with each other. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say, I mentioned this earlier, that I don't have a problem if that's what you want to do, particularly if you're looking for a marriage. Because again, more nuclear families, it's not going to hurt anything. It's going to actually help a community. The problem I have is number one, did you address why your own people are not interested in you? You're going to have to address that before you can move forward. Once that's been addressed, then yeah, go ahead and move forward. The other thing I have a problem with is that are you looking for a wife or a husband when you're looking to date out? Or are you just trying to find a good woman so you can rack up somebody's body count? See, that becomes an issue, because if that's what you're doing, if you're not looking to get married, then go play with some hoes or some 304s. But stop trying to add notches to your belt with good women out here, because all you're doing is you're just creating baggage for them. It makes it harder for everybody else who's actually looking to build a family. That's my only issue with that. But the other issue that I wanted to address here is that they mentioned the attitude of a certain group of women, but what they didn't mention was the lack of, and it comes from, not having a father in the home. That's why there's a miscommunication there. But the other thing that they didn't mention was the lack of trust. A lot of women, black women in particular, have a distrust of the men in our community. And somewhere along the lines, we lost that, and we've got to get it back. The problem comes in is that most black women today, that level of mistrust is not warranted. It's just been passed down as a generational curse. Because when you start breaking these questions down, you start asking women, what is it that has you so angry about black men? It's generally because you talk to the younger women, right? The early 20s, they're already jaded. Well, how is that possible? Because you heard it from somebody else. So that's when we have to address those things. And the sad part is that with most generational curses, it takes you a generation in order to break the curse. So again, that's why I say we need more. Number one, we need more married people making content. Number two, we need more nuclear families in the community to help rebuild it, to help us heal. Kevin Samuels always talked about, black people, we need therapy. I agree. You should seek some kind of counseling or a therapy session, because we're carrying around a lot of trauma, distrust of the men in our culture. That's a big one. I mean, there are other ones on the male side as well, but we weren't really talking about that tonight. I have to save it for another video, I guess. But interesting panel though, because it got some married people, got some single people. So I think this is a good mix. But we would definitely be checking it out in the future. And I'm going to say goes to the next time. Peace.